Hello again, Honky Tonks. I've just been introduced to an old saying, and I can't believe I haven't heard it before anyway. It goes something like, if you want to know who rules you, then figure out who you're not allowed to talk about, or words to that effect. The thing is, there are many people we're not allowed to talk about in this country, or in the West, because they really are a protected demographic. You know who I'm talking about. And they're all protected and fought for as saviours by the wokie-cokies, the left ruffer. I don't know why, because eventually they turn against them, don't they? They have thrown certain communities under the bus for other communities. I've got to be careful how I say things here. That's why I've lasted so long on YouTube. You've got to be subtle, you've got to play the game. Talking about throwing under the bus, Rishi Sunak has thrown Lee Anderson under the bus for what he said about another favoured and protected demographic. Oh, I'm being watched. Oh my God. I hope they're fans. But what did he mean by what he said? That Sadiq Khan is effectively controlled by this certain group of people, this ideology? Well, there are two ways of looking at it. Lee Anderson either knows something we don't, that there's a shady group of these people at the top end of London society and in Britain in general, who are the puppet masters controlling Sadiq Khan, and he's one of them, and he likes being controlled because he is one of them. He's grown up in that culture. Or he has seen what we've all seen, the two-tier policing system and the authorities' lack of action against the pro-Hamas terror groups, or terror marches, pro-Hamas terror and free plasticine marches. It's cold, I can't move my lips hardly. A little bit. Things like when they're marching, they disrespect our statues. They wave about pro-ISIS flags and placards, racist placards as well, calling people like Sola Braverman and Rishi Sunak coconuts. I mean, racism is a two-way thing, isn't it, really? It really is a two-way thing. But some people get away with it. Why is that? What else have they been doing? Shouting for jihad against the Jews during their marches. Calling for the eradication of Israel, and during that vote on Gaza the other night in Parliament, they shone a laser thing on Big Ben saying "From the river to the sea." No, "From the river to the sea" is either a saying or a song. That means the hopeful eradication of Jews from a river to the sea. But that was allowed. No one said anything about that. Sadiq Khan kept stum. The police did nothing. And it is what it is. They shouted abuse at MPs, etc., and not to peep, hope not hate, who have raised this issue about Lee Anderson. Nothing from the usual people who shout and scream and cry about racism and bigotry and discrimination. But when this certain demographic do it, they're all quiet, aren't they? I think that's what Lee Anderson meant. Because if they can get away with that, then they're in control, aren't they, really? If anyone else shone a laser at Big Ben, say, Tommy Robinson fans with "Oh Tommy Tommy" on it, or anything else, a logo, the bat signal, anything, then they'd be fined heavily, arrested, maybe facing jail time. I think that's what Lee Anderson said. But the Tories, this was a knee-jerk reaction by Rishi Sunak, really. Why didn't he just sit back and think about this and back Lee Anderson and say, listen, can you just be a bit more clear with your context of what you mean, who controls Sadiq Khan in London, and take it from there rather than just throwing him under the bus? And this is why the Tories are going to lose the next general election. Because they're not conservative. They really aren't conservative at all, aren't they? They're nothing of the sort. I've said about true conservatives, I mean, I think the last true Conservatives were during Thatcher's time, really. They knew, a Conservative knows, that they have been born into privilege, British culture, traditions, freedoms, values, democracy, and they want to conserve all that. If only the Conservatives did that now, they would snatch victory from the jaws of defeat. If only they were a bit more robust and forceful with illegal immigration. If only they clamped down on law and order, lower taxes, less government interference in people's lives. That's what Conservative is all about, but none of the current lot are anything like that whatsoever, are they? They really aren't. The one person who wanted to deal with illegal immigration is Philip Braverman. They sacked her. Lee Anderson speaks out against the cult of getting away with everything. They've got to be careful. And he's been thrown under the bus. The ones who show Conservative values are being eradicated from the Tory party, which makes it not very Tory anymore. And it's quite concerning, isn't it? Labour have got the next election in the bag, not because they're popular, it's because the Tories lost it. And what's the third option? Reform. Sorry, no. Big no from me. Not if what I've heard from Richard Tice is true. No flipping way. None of them. I think Reform is infiltrated and they are control opposition. Really. They are showing the values of both Labour and Tories when they should be proper Tories and nicking their voters, and they're not. And Tice is just a lefty anyway. He's shown that with his recent actions. But this was a cowardly move by Rishi Sunak and the Tories to throw Lee Anderson under the bus. And if Lee Anderson does go to Reform, then that's his third party that he's joined. Can you really trust a guy like that? He voted against Rishi Sunak recently and then regretted it and wanted back in. So, can you really trust the guy? I know he portrays himself as a working class northerner or wherever he's from, but nah. No. Is there anyone in Parliament I trust? No, not really. How sad is that? Not even that guy with the wig, Michael Fabricant. Why does he wear that wig? Why does he? I mean, how old is he? Who does he think he is? He must, I mean, it must dawn on him one day to look in the mirror one morning and think, what the fuck am I doing? I look like a right twat with that wig. Trying to make yourself look young with a big blonde wig, like you're a schoolboy from Surrey. It just doesn't work, does it? It really doesn't work. Anyway, I've rambled on for long enough. Thanks for joining me on this walkie-talkie. I've seen your poll. The next video will be a voiceover because the resounding majority of you like a bit of both. So there we go. I listen to my subs, you see. If it wasn't for my subs, this channel would be nothing. It's all down to you guys at the end of the day, and I thank you from the bottom of my black heart. And that's that. Thanks for listening. I'm Paz49. Until the next time, Roger Trout.